In this video, we're going to talk about the difference quotient, which is f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h, where h is not equal to 0. And we're going to find the difference quotient for a couple functions. The first thing I'd like to do is lay down a couple things that we should know before we go into this problem. First, I'm going to talk about what is x plus h squared. And we can come back and reference this later to save ourselves a little time. So if you have x plus h squared, that's the same thing as x plus h times x plus h. Okay, and if you distribute this out term by term, you'll get x squared for the first one, and then the middle term, x times h, is xh, and then h times x we'll write also as xh, and then h times h is h squared. And if we combine those terms, we get x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. Okay, so we know that this is true, and this is going to be useful for us in when we do these problems. One more thing that I want to do is this. What is x plus h cubed? Okay, so x plus h cubed is the same thing as x plus h times x plus h times x plus h. Okay, now we already did part of this up here. Okay, so we already know what x plus h times x plus h is. It's this right here. Okay, so I can use that, say that this is the same thing as x squared plus 2xh plus h squared times another x plus h. Okay, and now to distribute this, okay, I like to use the box method to keep things organized. Okay, the box method, you draw a box that is, in this case, 3 units long, because there are three things in this parentheses, and then 2 units deep, because there are 2 things in this parentheses. Okay, so 2 down and then 3 across. Okay, so in the side I'm going to put x plus h, and on the top I'm going to put x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. And what I'm going to do is fill out each box using multiplication. Okay, and once I have all the box filled up, I'll know that I have multiplied everything. I haven't missed anything. Okay, so the first box is x times x squared, which is x cubed. The second one is x times 2xh, which is 2x squared h. And then we have x times h squared, so xh squared. And then x squared times h is x squared h. And then h times 2xh is 2xh squared. And then lastly we have h times h squared, which is h cubed. Okay. Now the nice thing about the box is that most of the time these diagonals will be your like terms. So notice that this is an x squared h term, and this is a 2x squared h term. So we can combine those together to get 3x squared h. And the same thing here, we have 2xh squared, and we have xh squared. So we combine those together to get 3xh squared. So I know that x plus h cubed is equal to x cubed, it's this box. These two are going to make 3x squared h. These two are going to make 3xh squared. And then this last one is h cubed. Okay? Now we're going to reference that as we do these 2 problems that we're about to do, so that we can save ourselves a little time. Okay? So let's start with the first one here. We've got 5x squared minus 4x minus 2. Okay, so notice that we need to find f of x plus h. So f of x plus h is going to be 5 times x plus h squared minus 4 times x plus h minus 2. Now remember that we've already done this multiplication. We did it earlier. You can go back in the video if you want a refresher, but we know that the inside of that parentheses is this right here. Okay, So this is going to end up being 5. I haven't multiplied that yet. Times x squared plus 2xh plus h squared. I can distribute this parentheses as well, this negative 4, to make negative 4x, and then also minus 4h, and then we've got a minus 2. Now I'll distribute the 5, so that'll give me 5x squared plus 10xh plus 5h squared, and then minus 4x minus 4h minus 2. Okay? So it doesn't look like we have any like terms. So that's it for f of x plus h. So we'll put that here. Okay, and then we'll subtract f of x, which is this, and we'll divide by h. Okay, so we have f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h is equal to 5x squared plus 10xh plus 5h squared minus 4x minus 4h minus 2, and then minus, notice the formula says minus, all this stuff. Okay, so if I'm subtracting all this stuff, then that means I'll be minus a 5x squared plus a 4x, because we're subtracting a negative, and also plus 2. So minus 5x squared plus 4x plus 2. Okay, so I subtracted all of f of x, dividing by h. Okay, that's a lot of terms, but we are going to be able to cancel some of them. Okay, so notice that we have a 5x squared there. Different pen here. We've got a 5x squared there, and we've got a negative 5x squared there, so they cancel. And let's see, we've got a negative 4x here and a positive 4x there, so that cancels. And then we've got a negative 2 and a positive 2 there, so that cancels. Okay, and that will leave us with 10xh plus 5h squared minus 4h divided by h. Okay, we're almost done, but notice that each one of these terms has an h in them. So I'm going to factor out an h there. That will leave me with 10x plus 5h minus 4 divided by h, so that I can cancel that h. So my final answer is 10x plus 5h minus 4. Okay, let's do another one. This one's going to be one involving a cubic. Okay, and we're going to use what we already know. Okay, so when I find f of x plus h, which is the first thing I have to do to find the difference quotient, that's going to be x plus h cubed, it's plugging in an x plus h in place of x, minus 4 times x plus h squared minus 1. Okay, now recall that we've already figured out what both x plus h cubed is and x plus h squared is earlier in the problem. Okay, so there's those two. So let's use those. So that's equal to x cubed plus 3x squared h plus 3x h squared plus h cubed. That takes care of the first one. And then minus 4 times, and we go back and look in the video if you don't remember what this is, x squared plus 2xh plus h squared, and then minus 1. Okay, so that will give me x squared, or x cubed, excuse me, plus 3x squared h plus 3x h squared plus h cubed minus 4x squared minus 8x h minus 4h squared minus 1. Okay, doesn't appear we have any like terms. Okay, so since we don't have any like terms, let's continue with our difference quotient. Okay, so we've plugged in the x plus h into this function and got all this stuff, and now it says subtract f of x and then divide by h. Okay, so this is f of x plus h. We'll subtract f of x and then we'll divide by h. So the difference quotient, let me write that, f of x plus h minus f of x divided by h is equal to this stuff. Write that down. Okay, it's a lot, but then we're going to subtract the minus. We're going to subtract f of x. Okay, so that changes the signs. So it'll be in minus x cubed plus 4x squared and plus 1. Okay, so minus x cubed plus 4x squared and plus 1, all divided by h. Okay, let's see if we can find anything that cancels. So I see here we have a -1 and a +1. They'll cancel. I see that we have a positive 4x squared and a negative 4x squared, so they'll cancel. And let's see, what else? We've got a negative x cubed and a positive x cubed, so they cancel. Okay, that looks to be it. Okay, so let me write down what we have left, which is 3x squared h plus 3xh squared plus h cubed minus 8xh minus 4h squared, all divided by h. Okay, now we're going to do what we did on the last problem. We're going to factor out an h out of all these terms. Okay, so that will be h times 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared minus 8x minus 4h, all divided by h. We cancel out that h, and we get our final answer of 3x squared plus 3xh plus h squared minus 8x minus 4h. Okay, so this video covered how to do the difference quotient for college algebra. If you were using this to do calculus 1, the final step in both of these problems would be to send h equal to 0. Okay, so after you cancel the denominator, you'd send h equal to 0. So this term would go away, this term would go away, and this term would go away. And you'd be left with 3x squared minus 8x. Okay, so for those of you guys that are using this video for calculus, this gives you the derivative. Okay, 3x squared minus 8x would be the slope function.